The Haunted Science Lab. At Crestwood High, the old science lab had been locked for decades, ever since a tragic accident claimed the life of Jonathan Miller, a brilliant but troubled student. Jonathan had been conducting a secret experiment late one night when something went horribly wrong, causing an explosion that killed him instantly. Rumors spread that his restless spirit haunted the lab, but no one dared to enter until Alex, Jamie, Sam, and Taylor, for adventurous students, decided to investigate. They chose a stormy night for their exploration, hoping the thunder would mask any noise they made. Armed with flashlights, a video camera, and an EMF detector, they crept into the school and made their way to the east wing. The lab door creaked open, revealing a room frozen in time, with dusty equipment and yellowed papers scattered across the counters. As they began to set up their equipment, a sudden chill filled the room. The EMF detector started beeping erratically. "Look at this!" Sam exclaimed, pointing to the reading spiking on the device. The temperature continued to drop, their breath visible in the air. They heard faint whispers, indistinguishable at first, but growing louder and clearer. "Help me! Find the truth!" Suddenly, the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. The lights flickered violently, casting eerie shadows that danced around the room. Taylor, clutching the camera, panned across the room and gasped. Through the viewfinder, she saw a ghostly figure of a young boy, his eyes filled with sorrow and desperation. "Who are you?" Alex called out, trying to keep his voice steady. The ghost pointed towards a loose brick in the wall. Trembling, Jamie pried the brick loose and discovered a hidden journal. It belonged to Jonathan, detailing his experiments and his descent into madness as he delved into forbidden knowledge. As they read the journal aloud, the whispers grew into anguished screams, and the lab equipment began to shake violently. Beakers exploded, shards of glass flying through the air. The ghostly figure appeared again, more solid this time, and uttered a single word: "Run!" Panicking, the group tried to open the door, but it was stuck. The screams grew louder, reverberating through their bones. Finally, Sam managed to force the door open, and they fled, the ghost screams echoing behind them. They burst out of the school into the stormy night, vowing never to return. The next day, they cautiously approached the lab again, but it was locked, as if nothing had happened. They decided to share Jonathan's journal with the school authorities, hoping to finally lay his spirit to rest. The lab was sealed off permanently, and a memorial was erected in Jonathan's honor, ensuring his tragic story would never be forgotten. The hidden cameras in the locker room Willow Creek High seemed like any typical suburban school until students began noticing oddities in the locker rooms. Personal items seemed to move on their own, and a sense of unease settled over the students. Emily, a sharp-eyed junior, discovered a small, inconspicuous camera hidden behind a vent in the girls' locker room. Shocked and horrified, she immediately reported it to the school authorities. The school administration launched a discreet investigation to avoid causing a panic. The cameras were cleverly hidden, suggesting the culprit had intimate knowledge of the school's layout. As word spread, paranoia gripped the students, who began searching every corner of the locker rooms, classrooms, and bathrooms for more hidden devices. The sense of violation was palpable, with many students feeling unsafe and vulnerable. The investigation led to Mr. Green, the school's janitor, who had worked there for over a decade. At first, the idea of Mr. Green being involved seemed absurd. He was known for his kind demeanor and dedication. However, the evidence was damning. When confronted, Mr. Green broke down and confessed that he had been coerced into placing the cameras by an unknown individual who had threatened his family. Digging deeper, the investigators discovered that the mastermind was a former student named Kyle, who had been expelled years earlier for hacking into the school's computer system. Kyle had held a grudge against the school and sought revenge by exploiting Mr. Green's vulnerability. He had been orchestrating the scheme from afar, watching the footage and manipulating events from the shadows. Law enforcement tracked Kyle down to a remote location where he had set up his operation. He was arrested, and the cameras were removed, The revelation of Kyle's sinister plan left the school community shaken. Trust had been shattered, and it took months for students and staff to feel secure again. The administration implemented stricter security measures and provided counseling services to help students cope with the trauma. The incident served as a stark reminder of the need for vigilance and the importance of protecting student privacy.
The ghost of Evergreen High had a long-standing legend about Emily, a student who had died mysteriously in the 1950s. The story went that Emily was last seen near the auditorium, and ever since her death, strange occurrences plagued the school. Doors would open and close on their own, lights flickered, and the sound of faint footsteps echoed in empty hallways. Rachel, Ben, Lisa, and Mike, drama students with a taste for the supernatural, decided to hold a seance in the auditorium to contact Emily's spirit. They gathered one night with candles, a Ouija board, and a sense of excitement tinged with fear. As they began the seance, the temperature in the room dropped sharply, and the candles flickered, casting eerie shadows. "Emily, are you here with us?" Rachel asked, her voice trembling. The Ouija board's planchette began to move, spelling out, "Help me find peace." The students exchanged nervous glances, but continued. Suddenly, the auditorium's lights exploded, plunging them into darkness. They heard a soft sobbing and saw a faint, ghostly figure of a girl in a 1950s dress on the stage. She looked at them with sorrowful eyes and pointed towards the back of the auditorium before vanishing. Trembling, the students followed her direction and discovered a hidden compartment behind a curtain. Inside was Emily's diary, filled with entries detailing relentless bullying and her feelings of hopelessness. Determined to help Emily find peace, the students organized a memorial service in her honor. They read excerpts from her diary and left flowers at the site where she had died. As they performed the memorial, the auditorium felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. The ghostly occurrences ceased, and the students felt a warm, peaceful presence enveloping the auditorium. Emily's spirit was finally at rest, but her story became a poignant reminder of the impact of bullying and the importance of kindness and compassion. The school established a bullying prevention program in her memory, ensuring that her tragic story would serve as a catalyst for positive change. The unseen terror of Maplewood High was an ordinary school until students began disappearing without a trace. It started with Lily, a shy freshman, then James, a popular sophomore, and soon several others followed. The disappearances were mysterious and left no clues. The local authorities were baffled, and the school community was gripped with fear. Mia, Ethan, Sophie, and Jake, a group of friends determined to uncover the truth, began investigating. They scoured the school for any leads and stumbled upon an old blueprint revealing a forgotten wing of the school hidden behind a false wall in the basement. Driven by curiosity and fear for their missing friends, they broke through the wall and discovered a labyrinth of abandoned rooms. In one of the rooms, they found bizarre symbols drawn on the walls and ancient, dusty books filled with dark rituals. As they explored further, the air grew thick with a sense of dread. They encountered a shadowy figure that seemed to vanish into thin air, leaving behind a trail of cold. Piecing together the clues, they realized that an ancient entity had been awakened and was preying on the students' fears. The entity thrived on negative emotions and had been drawing the students into its lair. The friends knew they had to act quickly to save their classmates. They performed a counter-ritual found in one of the old books, hoping to banish the entity. As they completed the ritual, the ground shook, and a deafening roar filled the basement. The shadowy figure appeared one last time, more menacing and solid than before. It reached out with tendrils of darkness, trying to drag them into the void. Summoning their courage, Mia recited the final incantation. The entity let out a blood-curdling scream and dissolved into a cloud of smoke. In the hidden chamber, they found the missing students, unconscious but unharmed. They carried their friends to safety, emerging from the basement as dawn broke. The school was closed and abandoned, left to decay with its dark secrets. The friends vowed never to speak of the horrors they had faced, but the memory of the unseen terror haunted them for years to come. They often wondered if the entity was truly gone or merely lying in wait for its next victims.